Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. As per usual, Capcom released some more weapon showcases, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Charge Blade, which, in case you guys don't know, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Charge Blade. I enjoy the weapon quite a bit, and it is one of the weapons that I'm considering being in my main kind of like weapons that I swap between. Main's always going to be Gun Lance naturally, but Charge Blade is one of those that I really appreciate. So let's take a look at it, because a lot of people are not particularly happy with the state of Charge Blade in Monster Hunter Rise. Let's see what it's got in store for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Okay. Couple of very interesting things that we get from this video. So one of the first things that it looks like they're giving Charge Blade users is going to be a faster counter, because look at how fast this thing pops up, right? Boom, done, like instantly. And I would assume the recovery time is also going to be significantly faster than something like a counter peak performance, which for those of you that aren't aware, that was actually a big complaint that I've heard from Charge Blade users, is how you pop your counter peak performance, then the monster misses the attack, and you're just left there holding your in position, just like, uh-oh, is the monster gonna come and hit me now? Hello? You're just sitting there for a long recovery time. So essentially, that's kind of like, I feel like that is what Ready Stance is trying to do, is trying to minimize that. So if you want to, instead of having counter peak performance, you're going to have Ready Stance. It says, Silk Bind maneuver that binds sword and axe together with iron silk. Seems to also like give you, a lot of blocking potential, stuff like that. This reminds me a little bit of Guard Edge. The difference is, it looks like you can hold it for longer than Guard Edge, because Guard Edge, it's almost instant, right? This one, you can hold it significantly longer, at least it feels like. I'm going to go ahead and assume, we'll be taking a look at the skills in a minute here, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that Ready Stance will not refill your files, because that's kind of like the drawback of using counter peak performance, right? You pop counter peak performance, you stay in that position for long. If you're able to successfully do it, you get your files back. Ready Stance is like not as committal. Probably not going to give you your files back either. But there's more to look at in this particular video. That was a really good spacing there too, for him not to get hit. So counter peak performance is going to be swapping with Ready Stance, which I assume is also going to be swapping with X Hopper. And I believe that for G rank, you're probably going to want to stick with counter peak performance and Ready Stance over actually going for X Hopper in most situations, because monsters are most likely going to be more aggressive. You're going to have less openings. And due to the fact that the Charge Blade is a little bit more sluggish in Monster Hunter Rise than it was in World, the counters are probably going to be the way to go. This is just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think about this if you are a Charge Blade main in the comment section down below. But let's continue here, because there's one thing that I really want to show you guys that I think... Okay, this one basically seems like the files get delayed and then they explode when you hit them with the axe. So I'm assuming that maybe they'll deal more damage if they're detonated with the axe, because there needs to be some kind of a drawback to, you know, because why else would you wait until your files explode? You put your files, you want them to blow up. You're like, oh no, I want to stack them all up and make a big explosion. Why? You can have the explosions happen sooner and it's not going to change much. So it will most likely deal more damage or give you some other kind of benefit. It needs to give you a different benefit for detonating them with the axe. But that's essentially what the firing pin is doing. Like, you look at it here. See, they don't detonate. And then they're going to detonate when he pulls out the axe. Boom, 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 boom. Yep. Now here we have counter peak performance with condensed element slash, which is the sword charge mode. And this is one of the most important things that I've seen in these videos. Maybe I've missed it on other videos before. But that right here confirms something that people were wondering about, which is, does Silkbind, what's it called? Silkbind skill switch swap, does switch skill swap dodge, does the triple S dodge, I'm just going to call it the triple S dodge. Does the triple S dodge has invincibility frames? And the answer is yes, it does. Because if you look at this video, I mean, it doesn't get more of a hit than what you see on screen right now. It doesn't get any more of a hit than that. So that would have 100% hit. But because it's in the middle of a switch skill swap dodge, didn't hit him. So that's invincibility frames right there. That's some long switch skill swap invincibility frames. Long. Because, I mean, it lasted from the first hit all the way up until the second hit. Like, that is basically an adept dodge. That's an actually, no, not even an adept dodge. What was the name of that hunter art that you had? Full evasion, I think? That's a full evasion right there. Like, that is a full evasion. Like, that in and of itself is a massive buff for every single weapon. Absolute evasion, that's the actual name of it. That is a massive buff for every single weapon. Particularly sluggish weapons like the greatsword, the charge blade, the gun lance. All of those weapons now have absolute evasion on command. That's insane to even think about. The implications of that are insane to even think about. Because again, unless there's a cooldown on that dodge, which there isn't a cooldown on the switch skill swap. That we've seen in videos, unless they modified this version of the game so that they can do it nonstop. But there doesn't appear to be a cooldown on it. So if there's no cooldown on it and you can do that dodge on command, why would you ever get hit? That's insane. It's basically absolute evasion. Now we have ready stance coming up here. And it looks like you can maintain the condensed spinning slash. As a matter of fact, not only that, but like, did he charge condensed spinning slash? Because he went from condensed element slash right there. That's the charging condensed element slash. Now he goes to axe mode. Silkbind swap. Condensed spinning slash is active. Maybe it now shares a timer with the elemental slash? With the element slash, I mean. So like if you're element slash and you Silkbind switch skill, they really needed a better name for that. If you're in with powered up element slash and you switch skill into spinning slash, maybe it just like gives you spinning slash. Maybe spinning slash is active instead of like, oh, when you sheath it goes away. Maybe it's got a timer now like element slash. Lots of changes, but like absolute evasion on every single weapon baseline with potentially no cooldown is not something that I expected. Is definitely not something that I expected. Let's take a look at the skill description here real quick. File follow-up firing pin. A mechanism that lowers the pressure of elemental energy generated through shield thrust during elemental boost or by sword attacks while in sword boost mode. Let's try that again. A mechanism that lowers the pressure of elemental energy generated through shield thrust during elemental boost or by sword. So shield thrust does files. Elemental boost is when your sword is charged, which when you attack the monster with a charged sword, does files. No, wait, that's sword boost mode. Elemental boost is your shield? Yeah, shield thrust during elemental boost. Yeah, exactly. So if your shield is charged, which I guess that's what they're calling elemental boost, your shield thrust drops files, or sword attacks while in sword boost mode. The elemental energy generated builds up on your target but disappears over time. So those files will disappear over time if you don't detonate them. It can be detonated by any attack in X mode, Axe mode, and extending the time limit of the elemental boost. Okay, the translation on this. Oof. All right, translation on this is oof. Like, I get it. It's all about, oh yeah, the Charge Blade is the most mechanically complex weapon in the game, so we got to make the skill interpretation on it also the most mechanically complex in the game. My interpretation of this, and it could be completely wrong because this description here is confusing as all hell, is that basically if using Firing Pin, which by the way basically delays when you detonate your files by hitting them with axe attacks as opposed to them just detonating by themselves. What's the advantage here? The advantage is extending the time limit of the elemental boost. So when you're using Firing Pin, you drop your files on the monster. They don't explode unless you hit it in axe mode, but it extends how long you can charge up your sword and how long you can charge up your shield. That's my interpretation. I could be wrong. I don't know. Not a really exciting skill at all. Not a particularly exciting skill. Personally, you guys let me know if you main Charge Blades out there. How do you guys feel about that skill? I don't find it that exciting. Then we have Ready Stance. Now, Ready Stance is interesting. Silk Bind maneuver that binds sword and axe together with iron silk. After guarding, a heavy knockback leaves you in sword mode and lowers your guard reaction so you're able to chain sword/axe attacks. It doesn't leave you in sword mode, though. Like, look here. Where was it? Is it here? Yeah, it's here. Boss is going to go to the left. And now he's going to pop Ready Stance. He's going to go right into axe mode. So it doesn't leave you in sword mode. You can just keep going with axe. I'm going to go ahead and assume that what it means is that basically if you are... if no matter which stance if you don't do anything after blocking with Ready Stance, you'll go back to sword mode. But you can just instantly chain into sword or axe attacks. Again, not a particularly exciting skill, but this one I feel like is needed because there are some situations in which, you know, landing counter peak performance can be a little bit annoying. Again, there is a downside to it. If you use Ready Stance instead of counter peak performance, you don't get your files. Whereas if you use counter peak performance, full files. So, you know, there's more of a reason for you something like load shells if you're running Ready Stance, for instance. Whereas there's less of a reason to do it if you are using counter peak performance. I'll be real, I don't know how Charge Blade mains feel, but not a particularly exciting showcase. I'll have to wait until, you know, the game is out and I get to actually try these things out for myself. But Firing Pin, not particularly exciting. Ready Stance looks kind of cool, though. Ready Stance is cool. But like the Firing Pin thing is like, sure, whatever, I guess. I can last longer with my weapon. I guess Firing Pin, there's a case to be made for it if you're using Spinning Slash. Because your axe stays charged. Again, Spinning Slash right now doesn't even... It just goes away when you sheath it. So they're probably changing the way that works, I would imagine. But it's like, this is one of those weapons that I really need to see in game to really feel the differences, because this video is like, I don't know, man. But anyways, that's going to be it. You guys let me know if you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button. Feedback's important. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. Subscribe and hit the bell notification icon for more Sunbreak coverage. Anything Capcom puts out, any news that comes out, I'll be covering it here on the channel as fast as humanly possible and as reasonable as humanly possible. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.